Let's go. So we started to speak about legislation. So we speak about Europe. There is the PSI, Public Sector Information Legislation. We have a lot of standards that we're going. And I think pretty much we decided that we have pretty much good laws. The problem was not with the law itself, was the implementation. Is PDF is enough to call freedom of information, for example. What is equality? How do we actually enforce people to do it? So it's not only the legislation, but how we make it a step further. And because this group was so great to discuss about all of this use and measurement and working together all the time, so we thought to ourselves that we need to have some kind of a way to share stories about good FOI and open data stories. How we can create this kind of space and this topic to actually share and learn from one another, maybe also from mistakes. And maybe how we can use this OGP as a platform to do that when it comes to legislation and other topics. And also, just a thought, if you're supposed to be the best in FOI, do we actually know what we're asking for in these terms? What are the questions that we need to look at? So I actually go from here also for use, so we have the use itself, but can we actually reuse it when we get in FOI? Do we actually know what we can do with the data legally? And another question is, both with FOI and open data, we actually know how people use the data, so we can actually have better feedback loops, so we can actually get better data. And lastly, do we actually know what is the quality of data we need? And that's some also from measurements. Do we know what we define? Do we know how to look at the quality of data? Are we already there so we can look at the quality of data or not? And looking at FOI specifically, we don't have a lot of ways of looking at it and we don't have efforts there. So maybe before we think about how to measure them together, we need to see how we create for both of them a way that we can actually look at them apart. But in a really good way also. What Alan said is also about can I get it in a proactive way? Can I get it in an FOI? Can I not get it at all? This is a really important question when we think about that on a global level. So then we come here, for example, so what is important to measure? And we were, Latin group, listen to me, I'm gonna bring you as an example. Thank you for bringing it up. So we were thinking about what we're missing in terms of collaboration. So looking at the European compared to these great guys here in Latam, they have basically a place where they speak about openness in Upper Latam. So it can be open data, it can be FOI, they speak about it, but they come and visiting one another. And in Europe, we don't do that a lot face-to-face, and maybe this is one of the keys that we need to check if it actually works in order to create better network and less mailing lists for Helen to look at.
Yeah, too many.
So how can we make a better way of networking and getting things together? Did I miss anything here, guys?
I think it's good for now. Very good. Thanks. Fantastic.
Thank you, Mark.